was a kid whose parents waited years for this kid to take a good yearbook photo. Every year he'd ruin it somehow. Weird smile, he was blinking, one year he was holding in a sneeze. But by now he was in high school and his parents figured, okay, this could be it. He's finally old enough, this year he's gonna take a nice picture. So they bought him a really nice outfit specifically for picture day. And this year they ordered a huge photo package ahead of time to give to family members to get some framed, walnut-sized pictures for grandma. I'm Grandma! So the kid, looking sharp, he gets to school, he sits down, it's his turn. But then right before his picture, his friend hands him this enormous fake mustache. The kid sticks it on, and he's sitting there thinking, there's no way this photographer is gonna let me wear this, but we'll see. The photographer looks at him, adjusts the camera, and all the photographer says is, smile. Perfect. The kid couldn't believe it. The photographer didn't care. They took the picture with the mustache. A few weeks later, a giant envelope shows up to this kid's house. Oh, finally, the pictures are here. I can't wait to see how good they turn out. What? Boy, was she mad. But they paid for these photos, so the picture with him and the mustache on got framed on the wall. His grandma got a tiny little one with him with the mustache, and all was well, I guess. That kid is hilarious. This kid wore wooden clogs to school every day. Everyone made fun of him for it. Hey, nice wooden shoes, freak. Yeah, did you steal those from a pilgrim? At first, he ignored it. Then one afternoon, a kid yelled an insult to him from a corner of the hallway. And I guess this kid finally snapped. The clog kid lifted 1 foot off the ground, and he flicked the wooden shoe straight off. And with perfect aim, it flew and hit the bully in the face. The whole hallway went silent. This kid, like I said, had perfect aim. From then on, if somebody made fun of his wooden shoes, all that person would hear would be the crack of the shoe hitting the floor, and then a few seconds later, thwop, wood right to the face. He never missed. He got in trouble a few times for this, but it never stopped him from retaliating against bullies, and eventually, people stopped making fun of his wooden shoes, and he actually gained a lot of respect. Nice. This kid carried 2 lunch boxes to school every single day. One was a normal insulated lunchbox. It had his food in it. The other was a very old, dirty, dented metal lunchbox. He never opened it, and he never let anybody touch it. His friends always asked him, what's inside that lunchbox, bro? He would just smile and say, don't worry about it. By middle school, people just started making fun of him for it. Weirdo's got 2 lunchboxes, and that one's a nasty one. Yeah, he's probably got boogers in there. Well, he didn't let this bother him. He went through all the middle school, and on the last day of 8th grade, his friend asks him, bro, seriously, what's in there? He opened it. Inside was tons of notes. Hundreds. Every single lunch note his mom had packed for him since he was in kindergarten. Good luck on your spelling test. Love you, son. Happy birthday. Can't wait to hear about your test. He never threw them away, and that old metal lunchbox was the very first lunchbox his mom ever bought him. When it got too beat up and rusty to carry food, he just bought another one, but he still carried the metal one around with him. He said that those memories, those notes, were way too valuable to throw away or leave behind. And every day he would read them, and it gave him a little bit of a pick-me-up. That, my friends, is beautiful. This kid started the dumbest rumor at school. He told one of his friends, hey, did you know the cafeteria has a secret menu? His friend was like what? And without even thinking, the kid says, grilled mac and cheese sandwiches. Now, that's not true. The cafeteria does not have a secret menu, and they definitely don't make grilled mac and cheese sandwiches. But the next day, the kid he told went to the lunch line, walked up there, and said, hey, can I get the grilled mac? A what? She was like, no, we don't make that. But the rumor kept spreading. By Friday, like 20 kids asked for it. The lunch ladies kept saying, we don't have that. But this kid, he kind of upped the rumors a bit by saying, oh no, you have to ask the right lunch lady for it. Or only 8th graders know how to say it. It got so ridiculous, the principal was like, yo, what is going on? This went on for a while, until one day, the cafeteria was serving mac and cheese, and they had bread and butter. So one of the lunch ladies in the kitchen was like, you know what? Fine, let's make some grilled mac and cheese. And let me tell you, apparently, it was absolutely delicious. When someone came up there and ordered it, and they actually said yes, cheers began erupting throughout the cafeteria. They loved it, and I guess that was enough for them, because after that day, nobody ever asked again. Gotta respect the lunch ladies. She's 20 years old, still living at home. She's in college. That's me. She's got 5 younger siblings. Almost every single day, she is the one cooking, cleaning, and driving the kids around. In this house, that's just how it works. Well, one night she gets home late. Her class gets done at 7:30. Normally she's home by 8, but on this day she stayed to talk to the professor a bit. No big deal, right? But she came home late. Walks in the house around 9:15. I cannot believe you. Her mom is super mad. The sink's full of dishes. There's no dinner. One of the kids had to be picked up from practice by somebody else. The mom says, "You are absolutely useless." Excuse me? Her feelings were obviously hurt because she is definitely not useless. She does so much for her family every single day. Well, after her mom said that, she didn't fight. She just went right to bed. The next morning, she doesn't wake anybody up like she usually does. She doesn't drive anybody to school. And she doesn't make dinner that night. And then she does it again and again and again. And the house starts failing. Dishes are piling up. Laundry doesn't get done. Kids are missing school. Now everybody's angry at her. This is your fault. This is your fault. Useless. Milk. She realized all these things she was doing were expected of her. And when she stopped doing it, nobody stepped up to take over. They blame her. And shortly after that, she moved out. And her family hasn't talked to her since. That's messed up. After class one day, a teacher tells him, "Tomorrow, I need you to come to my office hours." Oh, like right after school? Yes. And he's actually excited. At home, he tells his mom, "I got a thing for class tomorrow after school." He tells her it's office hours, and he thinks it's a party. Ooh, office hours. That sounds fun. Let's go to Costco. We'll have you get some cookies to bring. So they go to Costco. She buys some cookies, chips, some plates. Next day after school, he's walking down the hallway with a plastic bag full of these snacks, and he's excited. He knocks on the teacher's door, smiling, and he goes in. "I didn't know how many people were coming, so I brought extra." What? She looks at the food, looks at him. "What are you talking about?" "Office hours." She closes the door quietly and says, "We're here to talk about your failing grade." It's not a party?" "No." He sits down, defeated. He talks to the teacher, and they have a plan to fix his failing grade. And as he's about to leave, "All right, well, thanks. I guess I should go do my homework." And wait, I can't let you waste all the food. Let's bring out the cookies and the chips. Let's have a little party, just us two. Okay. And for the next 15 minutes, they sat there and ate cookies and chips and just chatted like two human beings. And then he went on his way. Hey, actually, that's a good teacher. This kid never got in trouble. He was quiet. He got good grades, which is why nobody suspected him when everything started. It begins during first period. Some girl in this class suddenly jumps out of her seat. The teacher runs over. Then immediately after, someone hears another scream from a different classroom. And then every 15 minutes, all day, from all around the school, screams. Because why? The screams meant somebody found a mouse. But it's not normal mice. Bright blue mice. Pink mice. Green mice running through the classrooms and the school, and nobody knows where the heck they came from. And because each of these mice were a different color, they figured somebody had to have brought these into school. So they started going around and searching people's backpacks. Well, what nobody knew was that that quiet kid, that smart kid, was preparing for this for weeks. You see, I have a pet snake at my house. He eats mice. I've been stockpiling them, and he was dyeing them different colors using Easter egg dye. Then, on the day of the prank, he shows up to school wearing a trench coat, and he'd modified the inside of the coat so it could fit all of these mice. And all morning long on that particular day, he would walk through the school and slowly, one at a time, drop a mouse here, drop a mouse there, drop a mouse everywhere. The funniest part was nobody knew it was him. The only reason we know is because he shared the story. He's an old guy now. But the sad part is, most of those mice died that day. Rest in peace. It started small. This kid brought a few things from home that day. Headphones, a hoodie, and some random collectibles. And somebody jokingly goes, "I'll trade you my Jordans for those headphones." He says, "Okay." And that's the moment it clicks. The next day he comes to school and that duffel bag he brought of stuff is heavier. And he starts telling people during lunch to meet him in the bathroom. And everything he had was up for trade. "Okay guys, line up. Here's what I got. What do you got?" And the value is negotiated right there on the spot. A hoodie for a watch for AirPods, AirPods for a portable speaker shaped like SpongeBob SquarePants, a portable speaker shaped like SpongeBob SquarePants for a porcelain plate that someone stole from their grandma's house that's worth a lot of money. Okay, I think we all did good today. We happy? Yep. Perfect. Milk. By week 3, there's a huge line of people holding random objects trying to trade with this kid because the best best part is you were never sure what he was gonna bring. Some of the stuff that was traded included shoes in a plastic bag, electronics, gift cards, jewelry. Bro, that's a PlayStation 5. I know. Now say you wanted something nice, but the thing you had to trade didn't equal the value. Okay, I'll trade you this for that, but tomorrow you gotta bring me something else to make it even. Deal. So now there's credit on the line. And that's when it gets dangerous, because if someone didn't follow up with their end of the deal, there was arguing, fights, full-blown bathroom brawls. And then came the bandits. Bigger kids that stormed into the bathroom one day and stole everything. Hey, Pipsqueak, give us the stuff. I knew I should have hired security. That's another lesson. Always hire security. The school then gets involved in a pretty major way. Suspensions, confiscations, meetings with parents who are finding out for the first time that their kid traded their family heirloom for a frickin' SpongeBob speaker. That bathroom was closed down for the rest of the year. But nobody ever forgot that underground trading post in the school bathroom. His parents bought a house from a guy that owned a bowling alley, and the garage was stacked floor to ceiling with old wooden bowling pins, like surrounding the garage 10 feet high. So whenever they lit a fire in the fireplace, his dad would say the same thing. Hey son, go grab me a pin. Okay, sure thing, Pops. Then his dad would use that wooden bowling pin to start a fire in the fireplace, and to him, that was normal. Bowling pins equaled logs. Well, years later, he's at his first sleepover at his friend's house. It's a cold night, and the friend's dad wants to start a fireplace in the fire. Okay, everyone, I'm gonna start a fire. Well, this kid sees this as a moment that he can help. He wants to be helpful, so he stands up immediately. Cool, I'll help. Where do you keep your bowling pins? Bro, what? They were all confused, like, what do you mean, where do you keep your bowling pins, you freaking weirdo? The dad finally laughs and explains to him that people can just use logs to start a fire, not bowling pins. And that's when it hit him. He was the weird one. His entire childhood fireplace experience was insane. And then he watched his friend's dad light a regular log in the fireplace, and he was disappointed, because he said bowling pins, they burned better. That's crazy. In this house, the entire family did something crazy. Every night, an alarm went off at 2 a.m. School nights, weekdays, holidays, it did not matter. Everyone had an alarm. And when it rang, you got up. You would then head down to the kitchen. You're mute. Once everybody was down there, the lights would turn on and the fridge would open. And the entire family would just grab stuff they wanted to eat. Didn't matter. Leftovers, cereal, meatballs, whatever existed in the fridge was free game at 2 a.m. Then they would sit around the table, half asleep, and eat whatever snacks they had. And they talked about nothing. And after about 15 to 20 minutes, they all went back to bed every single day. 10 p.m. they would sleep, 2 a.m. kitchen, morning, work, and school. And this kid, he never questioned it because he thought that that's just how families work. Well, when he slept over at a friend's house for the first time, he set his alarm for 2 a.m. And when it went off, he went down to the kitchen. And nobody was there. He waited there for about 6 minutes, but nobody came down. I've been waiting here for about 6 minutes, but nobody's coming down. So he just goes back to bed, and in the morning, he brings it up to his friend. And his friend thought he was crazy. Well, yeah. This guy says that even now, years later, sometimes he will randomly wake up at 2 a.m., like his body's trying to get him to go to the kitchen. Just an instinct. And sometimes he does go down there and grabs a snack. That's nice. This girl's in 8th grade. She's tiny, pretty short. Like she barely comes up to anybody's shoulders. Well, her dad is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu teacher, and he taught her jiu-jitsu when she was very young. I want you to be able to defend yourself, sweetie, only if you need to. And she was really good at it. She had these skills, but she never had to use it until one day. This senior dude won't leave her alone. Hey, what's up? So what are you doing? Hey, what's happening? Get away from me. He's getting in her face. The teachers see this, but they don't do anything. He then grabs her arm really hard. Hey, get back here. And that's when it ends. One clean move. And this kid's on the floor, knocked out. The hallway is dead silent now. Everyone's watching. Well, here's the wild part. That kid goes home that night, and this kid's parents lose it. They demand a meeting. They say that their son was attacked. They want the girl expelled. And the school sides with them until her dad stands up. My daughter isn't going anywhere. I was walking around earlier. I see cameras in every single hallway. Why don't we run it back to see what really happened? And if you still think my daughter should be expelled, I'm gonna sue this entire school and him for assault. And this dad was intense. They believed him. Then it switched. This girl was not getting expelled. Instead, the guy does. Good on her for sticking up for herself, and good on the dad for being awesome. It's a sleepover at his friend's house. They're sitting down talking when somebody mentions a microwave. I almost microwaved my fork. That would have been crazy. Why would that be crazy? Everyone's like, you can't microwave metal, man. You didn't know that? No, and I've never tried. They explain to him that it's bad to microwave metal, like fire hazard bad. Well, they all go to sleep, and this kid's laying there. He can't stop thinking about it. Metal, microwave. Microwave, metal, metal, microwave, metal. Metal, metal, microwave, milk, metal. He just can't let it go. Staring at the ceiling, he decides, ugh, I need to find out for myself. So he goes into the kitchen of his friend's house, opens the silverware drawer, grabs a handful of forks, knives, and spoons, puts it in the microwave, and presses start. For the first 3 seconds, nothing happens, but then crackling, sparks, a flash bright as the sun, and then flames. The microwave is now fully engulfed in flames, and the cabinets start on fire. Fire alarms are going off, everybody in the house wakes up and they go outside. The fire trucks arrive and they're putting this fire out. Luckily, it's not too bad. The kitchen was pretty messed up though, but the entire neighborhood was outside in their pajamas watching this thing happen. And obviously, they found out who did it. Bro, we just told you about metal in the microwave. I had to see it. And that, my friends, is nuts. These are the worst parents ever. In this house, certain words were banned, like disgusting. If you said the word disgusting, you were grounded for a week. Obviously, no swear words. Bedroom doors had to stay open at all times. Only time they could be in a room with the door closed was the bathroom. This kid's parents hated Cartoon Network. They called it garbage. So yeah, super controlling parents, but one day it became completely out of hand. One day the parents decided that these kids were bad enough to deserve a real punishment. You've seen nothing yet. So the sister was 14, the brother was 12. The parents made them gather every single item in their bedroom. Clothes, pictures, diaries, toys, childhood keepsakes. Their parents made them bag this stuff up in trash bags. And then they marched them outside to a giant burn pile. March to the backyard. And item by item, they made the kids burn every single thing that they bagged up. Every memory, every photo, every childhood item, completely gone. The next day, they went out to see what was left, and it was just ashes. Their entire lives up to that point, ashes. So yeah, in my opinion, worst parents ever. Every night at 8 p.m., this kid's parents would shut off the internet. It didn't matter what he was doing. And to turn it back on, you had to have the password. Homework, group projects, whatever, it didn't matter. At 8 p.m., the Wi-Fi was getting shut down. At first, he's mad, like this is not fair, but then he realizes the neighbor's Wi-Fi signal is very strong, and they're very old, so there wasn't a Wi-Fi password. He begins doing his homework on their Wi-Fi by his bedroom window. Okay, perfect. It works. But then like winter hits and the signal gets worse for some reason. Dang it, connect, send! Don't! He starts getting closer and closer to the neighbor's house. He begins sitting on his front porch, then outside their windows. This goes on for weeks. Sometimes the signal's better, sometimes it's horrible. Until one night, the signal was very bad, so he was sitting directly underneath their bedroom window. He didn't know it was their bedroom, but another neighbor saw it. What is that creep doing? And yeah, I guess it would look pretty creepy, this dude sitting outside the neighbor's window with a laptop. In the dark, the police get called, the cop shows up, he explains to them, I'm using their Wi-Fi. Mine gets cut off at 8 p.m. by my parents. I have homework to do. The cop's not even mad at him. He's like, where are your parents? The parents come out. The cop says, you shut off the Wi-Fi at 8 p.m.? He's got homework to do. Look what he's doing! He shames the parents. And the parents are very embarrassed because, yeah, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Nobody gets in trouble that day, and the parents stopped turning the Wi-Fi off. That's just wild. There was this kid whose locker was in the best spot of the school. It sat directly under one of the school's air conditioning vents. It's nice and chilly over here. Nobody paid attention to it, not really even him. Until one day he throws a Gatorade on the top shelf of his locker. Comes back a couple hours later. Whoa, this is ice cold. And it's cold. So the next day he tries it again with a soda, a warm soda. He puts it in the morning, he checks it after lunch. Oh, that's a crispy soda. That's when he gets an idea. Instead of filling the top shelf of his locker with his own drinks, he starts renting shelf space. $1 to keep your drink in there until lunch. $2 if you want it until the end of the day, to have a cold drink for practice or something. People didn't believe him at first. Dude, there's no way your locker is like a refrigerator. Until one dude tried it. He went to pick up his Dr. Pepper before lunch, and it was cold. No, guys, it actually worked. It was first come, first serve, until the top shelf of the locker was rented out completely. And there was always someone who couldn't get a spot because it was booked up. Kids lined up before the first bell at his locker, holding milk, Gatorade. One kid said, "Will it freeze my ice cream?" He had it organized. He put sticky notes on with the person's name so he knows whose was whose. Teachers found out, but they were just amazed. Like, yo, what a smart kid. And what a strong air conditioning vent. And according to the students, that was the most valuable locker in the school. Yeah, I believe it. And guess what? You gotta respect the hustle. This kid's grandpa was a courtroom sketch artist. And for some reason, instead of his grandpa teaching him normal stuff, his grandpa taught him how to sketch.
Hey, good job, kid. You're doing great.
Hey, thanks, Gramps. Well, see, this kid was in middle school. He really wanted to draw stuff for court cases, but, So one day he talks to his smartest friend. And the friend goes, "Why don't you make your own court?" And they did. That smart kid became the judge. A couple of other friends became attorneys. And every day during lunch, they would set up in the corner, and then they start spreading the word. Anybody who has a beef with anybody, take it to lunch court. We'll settle this. Then word started to spread. Any type of beef that any friends would have, they would come to lunch court. Kids would walk up, explain their side. The attorneys would argue. The judge would make a ruling. And this entire time, this kid's just sitting back, sketching everything like it was an actual trial. And it would get intense. One kid brought his own witness statements from different classmates. Evidence started to be involved in these cases. There was a wait list of students waiting for their trial date. The kid who was the judge started carrying around this notebook filled with all the cases he's doing. Suddenly, he's stressing out. And this kid had a giant binder filled with these courtroom images. And honestly, that sounds like so much fun. This is nuts. So one day, this kid slapped another student with a ruler. "Hey, Billy." Everybody laughs. Even he did. Nobody gets in trouble. Well, for some reason, witnessing this kid slap another kid with a ruler ignited something in them. Because the next day, tons of kids came to school with their own rulers. Of all different kinds. Wood ones, metal ones, plastic ones. And just like that, the hallways turn into medieval combat zones. My turn! Mr. Kevin, no! Milk. School staff started confiscating rulers from everybody, but there was so many kids with rulers, it was very hard to do so. And just like that, another ban. The school banned rulers. If anybody was caught with a ruler, it was taken and they would get a detention. If they were caught 3 times with a ruler, they would get suspended. Now you might be asking, hey, Elliot, what about the classes where rulers are required, like geometry or something? Well, those teachers would pass the rulers out at the beginning of class and collect them at the end. But still, these kids must have been obsessed with rulers, because that sounds crazy. You didn't leave the table until you finished your plate. The kid usually just tries to power through it, but he's tired. He doesn't want to do this anymore. So instead, he pretends to take bites, and he puts the food into his pocket. Then, after dinner, he sneaks upstairs. But he doesn't throw the food in the garbage, because he's paranoid. He thinks his parents will find it and realize what he's doing. So instead, he hides it in the vents of the house. Didn't matter what food it was either. Mashed potatoes, chicken, vegetables, fish. Every night, a little bit more. Stuffy, the foodie. But his plate's always clean after dinner and his parents are happy. He's like, this is a solid deal, cowabunga baby. Well, a week and a half go by and the house begins to smell horrific. His parents think there's a dead animal in the attic. They hire someone to come look, but there's no dead animal. Then they have the carpets cleaned, then the walls cleaned. The last thing they got checked was the vents. The guy pulls it open, he's looking. Yeah, there's a bunch of old rotten food in the vents, and everything kind of comes to light. The parents find out what the kid's been doing, but they feel bad. They're like, oh my God, we were forcing you to eat. You weren't hungry. You shoved the food in the vents. We're horrible parents. Well, maybe, kinda. Why would you force your kid to eat? Regardless, that rule stopped, and the house still smells a little bit like fish. Sleep over at his friend's house. They're chilling in his friend's bedroom. Come here. Oh, man, you win again. Well, this kid turns his head for a second, and he sees his friend's grandma standing in the doorway just staring at him. At first, he's like, okay, this guy's grandma's pretty weird, but I'm not going to say anything. A little while later, this kid goes down to the kitchen to grab a drink. He gets in, opens the fridge, he feels that weird feeling that someone's watching him, then he closes the fridge, and the grandma's right there. It's like she appeared out of nowhere. He heads back upstairs to hang out with his friend, and they close the door this time. His friend says, "Hey, yo, my dad's gonna run me to the store really quick to buy something for school tomorrow. You good here?" "Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm tired. Probably just gonna, take a nap here. Close my eyes." "All right, I'll be back in a second." Kid closes his eyes, and he's just dozing off for a little bit. So that's when he feels the mattress shift. He opens his eyes. Oh. Grandma's sitting on the edge of the bed with her fingers crossed, looking at him politely. "Hello, I'm Grandma." "I am Grandma." "Hi, Grandma. Hi. I'm gonna get a cookie. You want one?" Sure." "Okay. Shh. Don't tell the family." And she goes away. She never comes back with the cookie, but his friend returns. "What's up, bro?" "Yo, bro, what's up with your grandma, man? She's stalking me." "Oh, she just does that, man. She likes to know where everybody is at all times. I think she was watching me sleep." "Oh, well, you're lucky." "How am I lucky?" After that night, he never sleeps over there ever again. This kid didn't talk until he was 5, and when he finally did start talking, he barely said anything. His vocabulary was only 20 words, and he only talked when he was spoken to, and everyone already thought he was the weird kid. Well, one day, this kid is sitting outside of his house when his 10-year-old neighbor walks by, and the 10-year-old neighbor is a legit genius. He actually ends up graduating high school at 12 years old, but he walks up to this 5-year-old who barely talks, and he says to him, "The answer to every question is observing." First of all, I have no idea what the heck that means, but the kid listened. Oh. He takes it very seriously and very literally. From that day on, every single question he gets asked gets the same answer. "Okay, you. What is 2 times 2? "Observing." "What do you want for dinner, son?" "Observing." "Okay, and how are you feeling today?" "Observing." At this point, people are freaking out. People made meetings, there was counselors and therapists involved. For almost an entire year, the only thing that this kid would say is observing. Eventually, after a few years of therapy, he began talking like a normal person. But hey, that's kind of hilarious. This school had a zero tolerance rule, and it sounded fair until kids realized what that actually meant. If a fight happened, everybody involved would get the same punishment. Didn't matter who started it, didn't matter who swung first. If you were involved, it was all the same. And on paper, it was supposed to stop the bullying. In reality, it did the opposite. The bullies figured it out fast. They'd corner somebody, shove them, taunt them, and then they would say the same thing. "Go ahead, hit me, loser. You're getting in trouble regardless." But you won't. And the victims, they learned the lesson as well. If they stayed still and took the beating, they'd be punished. If they would fight back, they'd also be punished. It was the same outcome. So something changed. Kids who usually froze stopped freezing. If I'm getting in trouble either way, I'm not holding back. Fights stopped becoming these quick one-sided scuffles. They became explosive, unpredictable. One day, a bully was picking on this kid he normally does. Idiot, loser, freak. And the kid that he was bullying went feral. Shoved him so hard he fell through the classroom window. One fight was so nuts, it took 5 staff members to break it up. And this was all because of the zero tolerance rules. These kids that were picked on were not holding back anymore. They're like, screw this. I'm not taking it if I'm going to get in trouble as well. The school administration eventually started to panic. The rule meant to stop violence made it more extreme. They then changed the rule back to what it was before this. But it was never really the same after that. That's nuts. Nobody liked this teacher. She was constantly promising things and never following through. Usually about animals. "Class tomorrow, I'm having a zookeeper bring in an aardvark." The class would cheer, but it would never happen. "Class tomorrow, I'm having the zookeeper bring in a boa constrictor." Class would cheer. Guess what? Never would happen. She would also lie about field trips, movie days. She was the worst. Every few weeks, she would get everyone excited about stuff and then just not follow through. By the end of the year, the class was completely over it. They find out she's retiring. It's the last week of school, and some kid comes up with an idea. "You see, my mom works at a candy store," and he said that that candy store sold these colorful candies that looked just like rocks. His mom made them. But here's what they did. The mom was willing to help get back at this teacher. But instead of the colorful candy chocolate, she dipped actual rocks in the candy coating. So they looked exactly the same as the real ones, except instead of chocolate, there was rocks. The class puts together this giant box, everything, and they put it on her desk. "Here, teach. Have them, enjoy." And because she's the way she is, of course, she's honored. "Oh wow, is it because I'm such a great teacher? You know what, I'm not gonna share these, but I will have one right now." And they're watching her. She's going to put this candy in her mouth. She does. Then she bites down. Immediately, tooth cracked. The teacher spits it into her hand and looks at it. It's a rock, and she's ticked off. They eventually find out who did it, and he was expelled. But obviously his mom wasn't mad because she's the one that helped him. But hey, that teacher sounded horrible. She deserved it. His name was Frog Boy, and he was the weird kid at this one school. Froggy, Puggy Wuggy. Every single day before class, he would be in the woods behind the school, catching frogs, lizards, and raising tadpoles in a Home Depot bucket. Grow, little tadpoles. Grow into frogs. And every day he would walk into class smelling like pond water. Yo, Frog Boy smells extra froggy today. But in class, he would have so much pent-up energy. He couldn't sit still, and every single teacher knew this. Kevin, why don't you go take a lap around the school, okay? Okay. They would often let him leave school and run around the building and come back to tire himself out. In different classes, other kids would be doing math, and they would look out the window to see Frog Boy running by. 2 plus 2 is 6. He would also just do crazy stuff, like one week he super glued all the woodshop tools to the wall. It's a masterpiece. My tools! Another week he went into the kitchen and spread flour everywhere. Looks like it snowed in here. My kitchen! And it was like that for a long time. Well, fast forward years later. One of his old classmates is at home scrolling through his phone when he stumbles on a viral motocross clip. Yo, that's sick. It's a clip of a guy on a dirt bike going off this huge ramp and doing a backflip. That's when the old classmate realizes, wait, that's frickin' Frog Boy! Frog Boy was now a professional motocross rider, and he was very rich. I'm just happy he used his energy for something awesome like that. Hey, go Frog Boy. At this school, snacks were allowed, but certain snacks were banned, like hot Cheetos, Takis, and anything sour. And the school wasn't joking about this either. If you got caught with them, that was a detention immediately. Is this Sour Patch Kids? Yes? Detention! So them being this illegal made kids want them more. So one kid's sitting back looking at the situation. He's like, okay, so these snacks are basically illegal, but everybody wants them. And he commits. He goes to the store, and his bedroom becomes a storage. Boxes, drawers, bags, all full of these banned snacks. Every morning, he would grab a small handbag, nothing too crazy, and he would put a bunch of these snacks in there. He would then take it to school. And he's not selling openly. He's being very discreet about this. Between classes, quick handoffs, and it blows up. People are nervous buying them. Hey, bro, let me get some Takis and sour gummies. Got you. Everybody's paranoid. So he makes it very clear. Every time he does a sale, he says this: if you're caught with this, that's on you. If you snitch, that's a whole different issue. And standing by him every single time is his best friend. Big buff dude. He never talked much. If you snitch, he'll find you, and he'll get you. Yeah, and nobody snitched. For a while, one kid did, and he wasn't caught with candy or in the act of buying it. He snitched because he was petty. He was jealous of this kid's business, and he wanted to shut it down himself, so he did. And there was a huge investigation launched, and that kid who started this business was expelled. That's too much. For almost a year, this kid kept reporting the same bully to the office. He beat me up again. And every single time, the school staff reacted the same way. Okay, we'll look into it. He's just being dramatic. And this bully was ruthless. Locker shoves, he would slap the books out of his hand. He started rumors about him. Hey, he uses onions as soap. But the school staff kept saying, we'll keep an eye on it. I'm not doing nothing. They just weren't taking it seriously. They didn't think he was telling the truth. After a while, are you sure you're not misinterpreting things? You keep reporting the same student every day. We need proof. I don't have proof. Well, that's too bad. Well, that spring, they installed cameras in the school, all throughout the hallways. The cameras were not installed for bullying. The superintendent just made the decision. Well, the first week the cameras are live, this kid was bullied every day. And at the end of the week, he goes to the office. It happened again every single day this week. He shoved me into the locker, he beat me up, he slapped the books out of my hands. Here we go again, we need proof. Well, this time you do. Remember? You guys installed cameras in the hallway. Oh, that's right. They checked the cameras, and they saw it. Every day that kid being bullied by the same bully he said he was being bullied by. And there was an investigation launched. The bully gets suspended for 2 weeks, and the school staff pulls him into the office and apologizes. I mean, finally, but that's still super messed up. It started over a jelly donut. No, that's my donut. I bought it, it was the last one. Yeah, but I was technically in line before you. Yeah, but then you went to the bathroom because you had to take a dump. Steven, you told her? It's the truth. They argue and argue, they start shoving. Then the donut drops on the floor and somebody steps on it. It's no good. It turned into this big thing. Apparently, the school had began picking sides. Nobody even knows what it's about. So now it's two large groups of people. At the front are the two girls, and they just start brawling. And the kids who aren't involved are just watching, like, dude, this is messed up, we gotta leave. Okay, let's go. Well, as those two try to leave the cafeteria, two plainclothes cops come in. You're not going anywhere. Nobody's going anywhere. But by this point, it was out of control. The large fighting crowd makes its way outside, and now they're fighting in front of the school. Hundreds of kids shouting, fighting, people recording it. The security guard gets knocked over.
Ouch! Ouch!
Somebody pulls the frickin' fire alarm, and that's when it happens. Like 10 cop cars just storm in. They get out of their car. They're wearing helmets and shields, and that's when all the students realized, oh, we should probably stop. But everyone that was involved in the fighting got into huge trouble. Let's just say for the next week, attendance was very low. It started small. This kid brought a few things from home that day. A headphones, a hoodie, and some random collectibles. And somebody jokingly goes, I'll trade you my Jordans for those headphones. He says, okay. And that's the moment it clicks. The next day he comes to school and that duffel bag he brought of stuff is heavier. And he starts telling people during lunch to meet him in the bathroom. And everything he had was up for trade. Okay guys, line up. Here's what I got. What do you got? And the value is negotiated right there on the spot. A hoodie for a watch for AirPods, AirPods for a portable speaker shaped like SpongeBob SquarePants, a portable speaker shaped like SpongeBob SquarePants for a porcelain plate that someone stole from their grandma's house that's worth a lot of money. Okay, I think we all did good today. We happy? Yep. Perfect. Milk. By week 3, there's a huge line of people holding random objects trying to trade with this kid because the best part is you were never sure what he was going to bring. Some of the stuff that was traded included shoes in a plastic bag, electronics, gift cards, jewelry. Bro, that's a PlayStation 5. I know. Now, say you wanted something nice, but the thing you had to trade didn't equal the value. Okay, I'll trade you this for that, but tomorrow you gotta bring me something else to make it even. Deal. So now there's credit on the line. And that's when it gets dangerous, because if someone didn't follow up with their end of the deal, there was arguing, fights, full-blown bathroom brawls. And then came the bandits. Bigger kids that stormed into the bathroom one day and stole everything. Hey, Pipsqueak, give us the stuff. I knew I should have hired security. That's another lesson. Always hire security. The school then gets involved in a pretty major way. Suspensions, confiscations, meetings with parents who are finding out for the first time that their kid traded their family heirloom for a freaking SpongeBob speaker. That bathroom was closed down for the rest of the year. But nobody ever forgot that underground trading post in the school bathroom. Every single dog in the neighborhood knew this kid, even the mean ones. This kid made it a point. Every afternoon he would walk the neighborhood, stopping at every fence of every house that had a dog. Small dogs, big dogs, mean dogs, dogs with the sign, do not pet. The ones that would bark nonstop, the ones that would continuously growl. He would go to each one. He would crouch, he would talk to them softly, bring them pieces of ham or chicken or turkey. Hey, you're a big mean dog, are you? Hey, here's some turkey. Oh, here's some chicken. Yeah. Oh, here's a toy. Day after day, he was earning the respect of these dogs. Some dogs took weeks, some dogs took months, but eventually every single dog knew him and loved him. To the point where whenever he would walk by, the barking and growling would stop, and they would start wagging their tails. Well, one afternoon, this kid is sitting in his front yard. He's carving a little canoe out of a log with a knife. He's focused, like he's some sort of woodsman. Yeah, it's very nice. This is good cedar. Then he hears it. Heavy paws, deep growling, the rattling of a collar. And he looks up. Down the street, one of the neighborhood's scariest, meanest dogs got loose. And this dog is sprinting towards a neighbor that's walking alone. The neighbor does not know what to do, so he freezes. This kid knows this is freaking bad. This dog is about to attack this guy. So he tries to stop it. He stands up and he yells, Rufus! The dog skids to a stop, takes his eyes off the neighbor, and looks at the kid. And immediately the dog is now happy. He jogs past the neighbor, straight to the kid. The kid gives him some turkey and takes him by the collar. He then walks the dog back to his house and knocks on the door. Hi, so your dog likes me, but he doesn't like everybody. You gotta get him some training. I saved you big time today. The kid then goes back to his yard, sits down, and finishes carving the canoe out of the wood. Like nothing happened. What an absolute legend. One day, this strict teacher stepped into the classroom supply closet. Class, be quiet. I need to step into the closet really fast. And this closet was pretty tight, really small. So she steps in, and this one kid sneaks up to the closet, slams the door, and locks her in it.
Help me. Somebody help me.
At first, everybody was silent, and then they just started laughing. And each student in that classroom left, leaving her locked in the supply closet. Now, I get that she's strict, but this is not something to do to your teacher. An hour later, another teacher heard the screams coming from this empty classroom. She goes in there.
Oh my God, Mrs. Donahue, I'm dying.
She let her out, and the teacher that was locked in there just collapsed, shaking, crying on the floor. After that day, she took 2 weeks off, and every single student in that classroom got into huge trouble. Good. This is wild. So this couple lives in an old house. Winter hits, and the mice show up. And this is pretty normal. She has a full operation to catch these mice every single year. She has mouse traps hidden everywhere. She checks them twice a day, and they're constantly being reloaded. And the bait she uses? Peanut butter. The mice love it. Yeah, I love it. I love it. At first, they only had one peanut butter jar that they used. And for every trap, she would use a clean knife. So she would go in, set the trap, throw this knife into the sink, grab a new knife, take the peanut butter, set the trap, watch that one. So she's never double dipping the mice knife into the peanut butter so it doesn't get contaminated. It's too many dishes, it's too much work, but then she finds this peanut butter jar in the cabinet, the kind that her husband hates. Hey, I found this peanut butter jar in the cabinet. Do you mind if I use it for the mouse traps?
Yeah, it's totally fine.
She writes in the lid in big letters, mouse only. She puts it on the sides as well. It's impossible to miss. And now she was finally able to double dip the knife in the peanut butter to set the traps. So this peanut butter is now fully contaminated with like mice cooties. Well, weeks later, her husband's eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He calmly says, you know, I really don't like creamy peanut butter. She freezes. Which jar did you use? That one. The frickin' mouse jar. That's the peanut butter I use to set the mouse traps. It is 100% contaminated. He loses his frickin' mind.
I'm losing my frickin' mind right now.
That's disgusting. He says she should have hidden this jar. How would he know that it was for the mice? Because I wrote mouse only all over it. She points out that he agreed to this. It was labeled, and he ignored everything. He was angry at her for weeks, but she did nothing wrong. This one is on him. This teacher was so strict for no reason. Her class was the only class in school that had this rule. No backpacks at your desks ever. They stay in your locker. Backpacks couldn't be under your chairs, couldn't be under your desks, couldn't be leaning against the wall. And if you forgot something, too bad. No trips to your locker, no borrowing stuff from other students. She wouldn't even lend kids a pencil if they needed it. Miss, can I have a pencil? If you forgot your supplies, that meant a 0 for the day. Well, kids usually messed up. Some kids forgot their notebooks, some forgot their papers, pencils. It was a thing, and they were getting 0s. And she wouldn't even bend a little. You know the rule. Well, one day the class decides to coordinate. Every single student in that class on this particular day went in with nothing. No notebooks, no pencils, no pens, no papers, nothing. They were there just themselves. They sit down, they fold their hands in front of them, and they just stare ahead. The teacher looks confused. Then she starts handing out the worksheets for the day. No one moves. Why is nobody writing? We all forgot everything today, Mrs. Cabinet. If we had our backpacks, maybe we'd have our stuff. Oh, well, you all know the rule. The entire class gets a 0 for that day. The next day, they do the same thing, and they get a 0 again. The third day in a row, the class is sticking to their guns. They're all showing up with nothing. They get a 0 again. Parents start calling, asking why their students' grades are tanking. The principal sits in one day and figures out what's going on.
Milk.
The students were then allowed to bring their backpacks to class. The frickin' protest worked. And those 0s got erased from the gradebook. Their grades were back to normal. That's right. This could have been so bad. In this one class, he used to sit in the same seat every single day. Front row in the middle, nothing too special about it. Well, one particular morning, he noticed the person that usually sits right to the left of him was absent. So there was an empty desk right there. And he decided for that day he was gonna sit there. Class then starts like normal. About 25 minutes in, there's a large crack. Then another. Then, the overhead projector that is directly above his normal seat falls down and crashes onto that empty desk.
That could have been you. Yeah, I know. Oh.
and it went down fast. The desk was now cracked. Imagine if he was sitting there. The room was frozen, like holy crap, this could have been horrible. Maintenance comes in, they pick it up, they make sure nobody's hurt, and then they just go on about their day. But that day could have gone a whole lot differently if his classmate wasn't sick, and if he decided he wasn't gonna switch seats. But he did. And life went on. Somebody's looking out for him. When this kid was a toddler, his mom would keep him on a leash in the yard. She would clip it on him, and then she would tie the leash to something in the yard. And she let him play while she did the dishes. Well, one day he's sitting in the yard and he's eating ants straight off of an anthill. Just literally grabbing them and eating them like they're freaking popcorn. Well, that's when he gets curious. So he takes a handful of this anthill and starts stuffing his pockets. He's stuffing his pockets with ants so he can have a snack for later. This kid then takes the harness off of himself and begins walking towards the street. Just him, free, with a pocket full of ants. The mom sees this and goes outside to start to get him, but as he reaches the road, a van pulls up. This dude opens the van and grabs him and puts him in the van. Yeah, kid, get in, kid. There's another guy inside. There's a guy driving the van and another guy in the back seat. So now it's this dude, the kid, and the other dude sitting in the back seat. Now his mom is losing it. The car peels off. She's screaming, chasing this van. But inside the car, everything changes. The guy who grabbed them starts screaming. What? No. Get him off me! Get him off me! He's thrashing, panicking, because guess what happened? This toddler's pockets, like I said, were full of ants. And now they're everywhere in the van. This guy loses it. He just yanks open the van door and throws this kid into a ditch. Car's gone. The mom finds the kid moments later, alive, well, covered in ants, and eating them. And honestly, that's the craziest story I have ever heard. It's March. The school goes into one of those lockdowns where the police bring in these dogs to sniff around the lockers looking for some sort of illegal substances. Every classroom door is locked. There's no bathroom breaks allowed. Well, one kid in this class is visibly unwell. Pale, he's sweating. The teacher notices and goes over to him. What's wrong? The kid whispers back. Do you think the dogs would go to my locker? The teacher kind of pauses. Do you have something to be worried about? Kid nods yes and says, there's a ham and cheese sandwich in there with extra mayonnaise on it. The teacher's confused. That's not a problem. You're allowed to have food. The kid says, I know, but it's been in there since September. 6 months. 6 months this sandwich has been in the locker, and the kid is so worried about it, I'm pretty sure that sandwich smelled. This kid wasn't afraid of getting expelled. He was afraid that the dogs were going to uncover this weird biological event that was growing in his locker for 6 months. Luckily for him, the dogs didn't go by his locker and nobody uncovered the sandwich smell. But that teacher never forgot the fear on that kid's face. This kid wore a fake cast for Halloween one day. The costume was simple. Sweatpants, old hoodie, and a cast. I guess he was going as a kid with a broken arm. But on Halloween, no one's telling him, hey, I like your costume. Everyone's saying, oh my god, are you alright? And asking to sign his cast. Yeah, you can sign it. People are holding doors open for him. The teachers are letting things slide. So he keeps the cast on another day. The lunch lady's giving him extra food. One guy even carried his backpack for him. So he wore it for the whole week. People are constantly asking, hey bro, how'd it happen, man? And this guy's so dumb, he changed his story every time. Skateboard accident, or bike crash, or I fell out of a tree. And no one's comparing notes, so nobody notices it. Then things start escalating. Teacher lets him not carry his textbooks. He got extra time on an assignment. Then one day gym class happens. It's a pretty big class with a lot of students in it. And then there was a substitute. And the sub asked, hey kid, how'd you break your arm? And he goes, football practice. And everyone's like, wait, hold on a minute. I thought it was a skateboard accident. I thought it was a tree. I thought it was a bike. He was caught up. They found out he's been faking. And he was the most hated kid for the rest of the year. That's hilarious. He bullied the wrong kid. This bully started messing with one of the smaller kids by the lockers one day, talking trash and getting into his face. Nice hair, ginger boy. Trying to get a reaction, but the smaller kid ignored him. What, you got nothing to say? Then, out of nowhere, the smaller kid grabs the combination lock that's hanging off his locker, and he swings it across the bully's face. This kid's kind of bleeding a bit, he's crying, teacher comes running, but the smaller kid skipped off the class, and for some reason he did not get in trouble for this. Well, his next class was woodshop. After the bully got himself all cleaned up, he started to get mad again. Yeah, he got a cheap shot on me. I'm gonna find him. Oh, I'm gonna get him back. The bully then goes to this kid's woodshop class, and he walks in. He sees the small kid in the back corner working. Now, the small kid is working with 2x4s, planks of wood. Why the bully thought it would be a good idea to mess with him again, I don't know, but he does.
Hey, you're freaking dead.
Without reacting much, you guessed it, smacks him right across the face with a plank of wood. The kid freaks out again, starts crying. He's bleeding again. This time, they both get sent to the office, but the woodshop class had a ton of people say that this bully went to attack the small kid first. And if the small kid didn't defend himself, well, it would have been bad for him. The bully got expelled. Careful who you mess with. Bada bing, bada boom. This teacher and this one kid argued every single day, constantly butting heads. Johnson, look at me.
No, you look at me.
It's one of those things where every single class, kids are just waiting for some crazy stuff to go down between these two. Well, one afternoon, this teacher is fed up with this kid and says, Johnson, if you keep talking, we're gonna have a problem.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are. If you keep talking, I'm gonna call your mother. The kid just goes, do it. The teacher goes, oh, I will. My mom's gonna agree with me anyway. The teacher didn't like him talking back. You know what? Just go to the office right now. Go right now. Leave my classroom.
Okay.
He walks out of the classroom for 1 second, and then he comes back in. You know what? I'm gonna call my mom for you. He dials, it's on speakerphone, it's ringing, and his mom picks up.
Hey, Mom. My teacher wants to talk to you.
Teacher was panicked, didn't know what to do. Oh, the entire class is laughing.
Here, I'm gonna hand you over to her.
She takes the phone, and she hangs up. Kid was still sent to the office, but she kinda looked like a joke after that. This kid named Matt was spending the night at his friend's house for the first time. They had been best friends since the start of the year, but he had actually never stayed at his house before. Everything was pretty normal at first. Pizza, video games, all that. Before bed, the dad walks into their room and says, all right, boys, remember, no flushing the toilet after 10 p.m., okay? Matt just laughs. He thinks the guy's joking. This ain't no joke, son. I'm serious. If you have to go, go, but don't flush until morning. Then he just walks out. What's that about, dude? Yeah, man, my dad's really strict about the water bill. He says flushing at night's a waste. Bro, what if I gotta dump one? You just don't, okay? Alright, weird, but whatever. Matt and this kid go to sleep. Fast forward to 2 a.m. Matt wakes up, and of course, he's gotta go to the bathroom. He tries to hold it, but it's impossible. His stomach is rumbling, if you catch my drift. So finally, he sneaks out of bed. He heads to the bathroom. He's extra quiet. He does his business and then stands up. When he stands up and looks into the toilet, he's debating. Should I flush or not? There's literal in there. He's gonna flush. This is stupid. Big mistake. Within seconds, he hears footsteps. Fast footsteps. Coming straight for the bathroom. Before he can even react, the door swings open. His friend's dad is wide awake, standing there, staring at him. Get out. Okay, I'm going back to sleep. No. Get out of my house. Alright. It was 2 a.m. He had to call his parents, wake them up, and they had to come get him. He told his parents what happened, and they never let him go to his best friend's house ever again. In elementary school, this guy had one friend.
I have one friend.
It's me! But the thing is, this kid got bullied a lot. So whenever his friend hung out with him at school, his friend would also get bullied. Dude, whenever I hang out with you, your bully also bullies me. I know, I'm sorry. So they made a rule. They wouldn't hang out at school. They wouldn't hang out at recess. They weren't friends in class. They only hung out after school where nobody could see them. That's messed up. So at school, this kid was pretty much alone. Well, one day during recess, a popular kid asked him if he wanted to kick a ball around. Hey bro, you want to play kickball with me? Sure. This was completely out of nowhere. He was shocked. This never happened to him. Well, they started actually having fun. That's when the popular kid said this. Dude, this is fun, man. You're not as bad as your friend says you are. What? Turns out that kid's friend was bullying him behind his back, starting bad rumors about how bad of a guy he was, being a complete two-faced jerk. He stopped talking to his friend altogether, even after school. And he actually became pretty good friends with the popular guy. Hey, what's up, Carl? Bro, leave us alone, man. We're having a conversation. Yeah, jerk. What a horrible friend. Hey, you're the guy selling the dresser, right? Yes, sir. $40 and it's yours. This guy was scrolling through Craigslist, looking for some cheap furniture, when he found a solid wooden dresser that he really liked. He meets up with the seller, pays him, and hauls the dresser home. Everything seems totally normal, until he opened up the first drawer.
What the heck is this?
And inside that drawer was a Ziploc bag full of teeth. Human teeth. And not just like a couple of teeth. We're talking dozens. Different sizes, shapes, colors, some old and yellow, others perfectly white. What is this? He immediately calls the seller. Hey, yeah, hi. So what's in this dresser? Oh, you found the teeth, huh? Yes, I found the teeth. Why are there teeth in this dresser that you sold me? Listen, man, my grandpa was a dentist and those are his collection, okay? A collection of human teeth. Okay, so why are they in the dresser? Well, that's just where he kept them. Okay, but why are there so many of them, dude? This is kind of crazy. I don't know, bro. He was really passionate about teeth, okay? Now I got a Caesar salad and Love is Blind to watch. Can I go? Yeah, okay, bye. So this guy did what any normal person would do. He kept the teeth. Why? Well, just in case that guy's grandpa was a serial murderer. Dumbest things people got in trouble for at school. In middle school, this kid's grandma had just passed away, and it was his first day back after the funeral. This is kind of what happened. Did everyone turn their homework in? I only count 17, and there's 20 of us, so who didn't turn their homework in? I didn't. And why didn't you turn it in, Kyle? Did you even do it? You should know this. My grandma just died, and I was at her funeral over the weekend. I'm sorry, but I wasn't thinking about homework. Well, that's a shame, Kyle. I'm giving you a 0 for the entire week. Are you dead, Kyle? No. Homework is more important than funerals, as long as you're alive. Well, that pissed him off, and he lost his mind. You are an absolute... My grandma just died. She was my favorite person in the entire world, and I was at her funeral over the weekend, and now you're punishing me for not doing some stupid math assignment? Screw you! I wish you died instead of my grandma. That's it! Go to the office right now. Good heavens. He explained what happened to school administration, but nobody cared. He was suspended for a week. So one day in 8th grade, the school had a fire drill. Pretty normal, the alarm goes off, and the teacher lines everybody up. But this one kid, he had a plan. I have a plan. See, earlier that week, the teacher said something that gave him an idea. If there's ever a fire class, you should only take the essentials, okay? So, while everyone walked out with nothing, this kid sprinted out carrying his entire desk, chair included. He was full speed hauling it through the hallway. Hey, why are you taking your desk? Young man, what are you doing? And he just yelled back, "It's an essential!" And then outside, while the whole school stood in the parking lot, he sat down at his desk, like it was a normal school day. Started pulling out his notebooks and he was taking fake notes. The kid was a real comedian. Everyone was dying of laughter. Teachers were too confused to even yell at him. And then when the principal finally came over and asked, "Hi, what are you doing?" He just shrugged and said, "I thought we were evacuating, so I evacuated my education." Okay. And after that, every single fire drill, someone tried to take something bigger out with them. It became this crazy thing that people were doing, until one day the principal got on the intercom and begged, "During fire drills, students, please, stop taking the furniture outside with you. Please." Honestly, that kid's a legend. This family thought, chairs make you lazy. So they were forced to always stand when they were eating. Breakfast, standing at the counter. Lunch, standing around the island. Dinner, standing around the table with the entire family. And they were supposed to eat fast. They were trying to be efficient, I guess. Once they were done, they would clean their plates and they would move on. Well, this kid grew up this way and he never questioned it. Why would he? That's how he thought meals worked. Then he's at his friend's house for dinner one night. And he's confused. He's standing there. The dad's like, you can sit down, buddy. What are you doing? Okay. So he sits. They talk. They laugh. They linger and they eat their food at their own pace. He's like amazed. You good, bro? Yeah, this is just different. In a good way. He realized that his family was the weird one. Like a lot of these stories, this happens. After dinner, he goes back home and he goes to his room and cries because, what? He's been standing for every single meal, eating as fast as he can, being super stressed out because his parents are crazy. But actually, you can just sit there and enjoy your food and be with people and laugh. For the first time in his life, he was relaxed during a meal, and that meant a lot to him. Now, it's years later, and sometimes when he's stressed, he finds himself standing and eating, but he always tries to breathe, take a seat, and just enjoy those dang potatoes. It's testing week at this one middle school. Normally, kids have the Chromebooks open all day during class, or they're using the school iPads. And as you can imagine, the kids have TikTok tabs open, they're playing games, YouTube is paused somewhere. Well, this week, the teacher says, no Chromebooks or iPads all week this week. The kids are like, What? She then says, we're just gonna be watching movies. Now, when I was in school, that would be the best thing you could hear. There'd be cheering. But this room goes tense. So we're just gonna sit here and stare at nothing? Miss, we're gonna be so bored. This is stupid. Yeah, this is actually messed up. They then start calling the teacher horrible names. You're a frickin' loser, idiot. Piece of crap. Yeah, I hope you die. It escalates and escalates. One kid flips a desk. Enough! The teacher then grabs the school police liaison. He comes in and shuts this entire debauchery down. Every student in that class gets into big trouble because what the heck is the matter with them? Are kids really that obsessed with the screens these days? Maybe I'm old. But like I said, all I know, movie days when I was in school, the best. This kid in band was obsessed with yo mama jokes. Yo mama so squiggly, she squiggle on me. And he would say them every day. Yo mama so old, she pre-ordered the Bible. Yo mama so ugly, not even goldfish crackers smile back. Then a hurricane happened. Schools closed for a while, and everybody comes back. Everyone's talking about it, seeing who lost power, who's got flooding, all that stuff. Band class starts up again. The teacher's getting everybody settled in. All right, class, settle down, settle down. I'm glad to see all of you are well. Well, then this kid walks in, the yo mama kid. He's got the biggest smile on his face. The whole class can see what's coming. The teacher asks, Kevin, how you doing, buddy? The kid goes, yo mama. And before he could even finish, teacher cuts him off without missing a beat. He says, died in the hurricane. I am so sorry. Silence. You could hear a pin drop. Yeah, the teacher's mom passed away during the hurricane. The kid's just sitting there shocked. He quietly turns around, walks back to his seat, sits down. And according to every single person in that room, the yo mama joke kid never made a yo mama joke ever again. This kid had a fish allergy, and he always told his mom, Mom, I can't eat fish, I'm allergic. And he's not die allergic, but if he has fish, he'll get sick. Headaches, vomiting. But his mom refuses to believe him. No, you're not. Eat the fish. She would force him to eat the fish, saying that he's not allergic, and then when he does eat it and gets sick, she gets annoyed. Oh my God, you're dramatic. Clean up after yourself. Well, one night, the mom's hosting a big dinner party. This kid is 9 years old. Everybody's eating. His mom hands him a fish fillet in front of all the guests. Here you go, sweetie. Eat this. Let me know how it is. Mom, I told you I can't eat fish. That's not true. That's not true, everybody. Eat the fish. That's when the kid realized, okay, I'm gonna eat the fish. He eats the fish. Everybody's watching. 10 minutes later, he walks back into the kitchen. Oh, did you like the fish? You want more, I bet, huh? No, Mom, pukes all over the mom and the table. The guests are shocked. Oh my God, clean up an aisle fish. Milk. Now you can see it in the mom's face. She wants to explode. Kids do it, Mom. Everyone will see who you really are. But the mom can't. Not in front of all her guests. So she flips. Oh, my poor baby. I think you are allergic to fish. Let me go put you to bed. She then takes him upstairs and tucks him in and joins the party again. And from that day on, she never made him eat fish ever again. Hey, kid's a genius. There was a school in Florida that tried to monetize the bathroom. It's so messed up. They gave every student 3 restroom credits a month. And if you ran out, each additional restroom credit was $5 each. This is insane. The principal called it time management training, which didn't make any sense. It's more like a human rights violation. Well, that's when a student named Marcus, what's up, realized that the school just created the most valuable currency on campus. Okay, I got 2 credits left. I'll trade them for your pre-calc answers and your lunch. Okay, cool, yeah, deal. Marcus became this bladder broker of sorts. Hey bro, you never pee, right? No, just once before school and once at night. I'll buy your credits off you. He would either trade these credits or sell them to students who were having an emergency for a massive markup. Now the crazy part is, he began trading, buying, and selling these credits very obviously in front of teachers in the hallway because his plan was to get caught. So when the principal did catch on, Marcus, I know what you're doing. Oh, you do you? You cannot be trading, buying, or selling these bathroom credits. Well, what are you gonna do about it, huh? Oh, well, you're gonna get in big trouble. No, you're not, because listen up. You got a few options here. You can punish me, but then I'll go to the school board, tell them that you're charging students $5 to use the bathroom. Or you can let me continue and do nothing about it. Or your last and honestly best option, get rid of the credit system. It's a human rights violation. violation, you frickin' idiot. Out of my office now. By the next morning, the bathroom credit system was gone. And honestly, it was all thanks to Marcus. At this school during lunch, milk cartons were free, and they were all just sitting on this table. So one day, these 3 fifth graders, they stockpiled 20 milk cartons, shoving them in their backpacks, in their pockets, up their sleeve, and they take them out to recess. They walk over to the brick wall on the side of the building, and they just start chucking the milk cartons against the wall. Yeah, milk! Milk! The milk cartons are exploding, milk is spraying everywhere, a crowd gathers. Kids are cheering, they're watching this like it's a frickin' sporting event. Well, that's when somebody says, "Yo, the principal, he's coming!" Oh crap. The 3 milk chuckers put their hoods up and they just disappear into the crowd. The vice gets there. Alright, who did this? And it was instant snitching, names and details. The principal immediately starts searching for these kids. And there were close calls, but these guys were really sneaky. Hiding against benches, behind trees, in the slide. Somehow, they never get caught. And the rest of the day is a frickin' mission. At lunch, the principal and the vice principal are posted at the table that these kids usually sit at. Oh crap, he's right there. Let's eat in the band room. Milk! That entire day they managed to escape the wrath of the principal. And when school was over, they went home. But the craziest part is, some random kid cleaned up the milk wall by himself, just because he wanted to. When the principal went out and asked him why he was doing this, "Why are you doing this?" "Because it's the right thing to do." That's legendary.
तुम नहीं समझोगी प्रिया।
আপনার হাতটা একটু ধরবো?
আমার হাত?
কবিতার পাতা ছুঁয়ে মন জনাকি।
আর তোমার?
হ্যাঁ বিলেতি নায়ক হইব এই
মতো পুরা
চকটাও নষ্ট হয়ে গেছে ঘরে চল চকটা নষ্ট হয়ে গেছে চল
শোনো, তোমার এই পোলা গ্রামের 8-10টা বাদাইম্মা পোলার মতো না। আমার কিন্তু গ্রামে শুনছি, জিনিসটা আমলে রাখলাম, কইলেই তো রয়ে যায় না।
আচ্ছা এখন
ভুইকা গেছে।
কি আজব না বিষয়টা?
না না, আজব হইব কেন? আপনি আমার বস।
ভাই, তুমি আজকে মনের কথাটা কয়ে
আপনার বন্ধু ঝন্টুর যে সাইকেলটা আছে, ওই সাইকেলটা নিয়ে আমাকে একটু ঘোরাবেন?
শোনো, যারও একটু ফু দিয়ে দেই।
আচ্ছা, তোমার মধ্যে কি আমাকে হারানোর ভয় হয়? আরে প্রিয়া, আমি কিন্তু ধরে ফেলছি। কি ধরে ফেলছিস? তোদের
আমি ওই দিক যেতেছিলাম।
কি কস আবার টিভি বিসের বানানছে টাকা পাইছে কই?
আমি এগুলো কিছু জানি না চাচা, আমি যাইতে
আমি দেখতেছি। আজকের মতো শেষ, আপনারা আগান।
পড়ে না পলো সন্ধে আকাশ
শাহরুখের ভক্তরা যে এত ভীত হয় সেটা আমি আগে বুঝতে পারি নাই। প্রেমে পড়বেন কিন্তু
মন বেলা শেষে পেন্সিল ভাষা বেলা শেষে পেন্সিল ভাষা পেল কি
আচ্ছা, তোমার প্রিয় 3টা জিনিসের নাম বলো তো।
আমার প্রিয় 3টা জিনিস সিনেমা আর শাহরুখ খান। আর তোমার?
এ বেটা, কিং খান কই?
শাহরুখের ভক্তরা যে এত ভীত হয় সেটা আমি আগে বুঝতে পারি নাই। প্রেমে পড়বেন কিন্তু গেলাম। প্রথম প্রথম তো শাহরুখ খানের মতো হিরোইজম দেখাইছেন, আর এখন মনের কথা বলছি।
কিন্তু নিজের জীবনে প্রথম একটা মেয়ের প্রেমে পড়ছি।
তাহলে আমার শাহরুখ খান।
বাহ, কিছুই থাকে না। কিন্তু আমার
ফুলটা দেন, ফুলটা দেন।
হয়ে গেছে। শাহরুখ খান কইছিল, আপনি জানেন আপনি আমার জীবনের প্রথম প্রেম।
দেখ, আমি তোর মা, আমি একটু হলে বুঝি।
কেট কেট করে ঘুমটা ভাঙায় দিলা, স্বপ্নটা নষ্ট করে দিলা। ডন সিনেমার একটা গুরুত্বপূর্ণ দৃশ্যের মধ্যে আছিলাম, দিলাম।
টাকা পাইলি কই?
তোমার বাদশা শো চালাই না। মুমকিন है, मैं हूं।
আমি যাবো।
দেখতেছে আমার ভাল লাগে নাই। তুমি যারে পছন্দ করবে আমি তারই বিয়ে করবো। তুমি একটু